Hello and welcome to this special year in review of the Just Run podcast. So, first of all, I want to apologise because me and Nathan, well, this is our first episode since, I think it's the 1st of November. I have to have a little look back, which is crazy. Took a little bit of time off due to various issues, sickness, family commitments, that type of thing. But now we're back, just to do, really, funnily enough, the final episode of 2024. Today is really, there's no guests, it's just me and Nathan. So there's the really, really talented, handsome, muscular guy with a great hair. And then there's Nathan.
Not
we're,
bad.
we're taking a look back at 2024. We'll just discuss the races we've run, the lessons we've learned, highs, lows, and all the moments in between. But yeah, we'll probably forget something. There we go. We'll give it our best shot. First thing we want to discuss, though, is obviously this podcast. And we want to say an absolutely huge thank you to every single person who has listened, every single person who has subscribed, and taken time out of their day to listen to us chat shit, basically. And it's just, well, without you guys, this reality is, it wouldn't have come to fruition, really. It is the thing. It was a little idea that Nathan came up with, and you've made a reality worth continuing. So yeah, thank you for that. It was literally born less than a year ago in January. We've genuinely been taken back by how well it's been received. We've had so many awesome, inspiring guests, and it's just been a lot of fun. And the more staggering thing is the statistics. Now, I'm not the stats man. Nath is and always has been the stats man. So I'm gonna hand over to him just to talk about a few interesting stats for the Just Run podcast.
It's kind of mind blowing, to be honest, considering it's just like me and you once a week, just sitting down with guests that who've inspired us. So on all platforms, we've got 800 subscribers. On just the podcast alone, we've had 9,500 downloads, which is just mental. And if I'd set it up properly, then we'd only be 500 away from being monetized. Which I'm sick to death. Which is literally one episode. So this one would have taken us over the 10,000. But that's down to Spotify not providing the bloody link for me and all the links to set it up everywhere, which I did last night because they actually sent me a little spreadsheet with all different platforms and their links to do it. So that's what I did last night. So now we're on Amazon, Google, everywhere, iHeart, everywhere.
Lovely.
So the staggering one for me is the amount of countries we have listeners. So this may take a minute, okay, or three. UK, Ireland, America, Australia, Canada, Norway, Germany, New Zealand, Denmark, Brazil, Netherlands, Sweden, South Africa, Croatia, Philippines, Finland, Spain, Switzerland, France, Iceland, Poland, Italy, Turkey, Belgium, Cambodia, Austria, Albania, United Arab Emirates, Malaysia, Laos, Singapore, Vietnam, Portugal, Costa Rica, Czech Republic, India, Mexico, Luxembourg, Indonesia, Hungary, and Ghana.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's all.
Well, that's the point.
Which I find that nuts. I really find that just crazy.
So how many countries is that?
41.
That's bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that is just I can't quite get over that people from all those wonderful countries have taken the time to listen to these two Welsh idiots just chat crap. I mean, a lot of it is good stuff, obviously, with the guests, but it's just the whole idea that we're just two Welsh guys sat in their houses talking, and it's generating that much interest. And I love it, and I hope that continues, because trust me, guys, when I say this, we already have some really good guests lined up for next year. That blows my mind that they've even accepted this again. Yeah. So anyway, it's just been amazing. Have you got any more stats there? Any more? I like a bit of stats.
No, that's all the stats we got covered. So we've got the
Okay.
downloads, we've got we got our views on YouTube, 75,000.
So good. I
It's
mean,
mental.
I'm not going to be that guy who's like, oh, it could be better, because I'm surprised we've got 7,000. Like, when you come into this and you start doing this, it's very daunting for anybody who does a podcast and know exactly what you mean. It takes a lot of planning, a lot of effort, and yeah, we're not Joe Rogan yet, but I just think I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. That's probably one word I think I'll use to describe the year in review. I'm grateful for a lot of things, which we'll talk about for the remainder of this episode. But I'm just very grateful for this, specifically for everyone who's just, yeah, put their faith in us, put their headphones in and gone for a run or a walk or a drive and just listen to us. It's mad,
I've
crazy.
been amazed at how much I've learned about like the podcast side of it, the SEO side of it, and how to build a business around it.
Mm.
I think the episode which like got me thinking like that was the Mark Lewis one, where
Yeah,
after the recording we actually spoke to Mark and Jen for an hour afterwards, talking about sort of like all his planning and everything that he does. He looks at in detail and plans everything out, so nothing is like off the cuff. And
no,
I've taken that into our little podcast. And
yeah,
the time we've had away from recording, I've spent that time working on website SEO, just looking at little details. And hopefully next year, it'll turn into a lot bigger podcast for us. Because as we just mentioned, some of the guests we got coming on next year are just they're mind blowing. They're not just like ultra runners. They're like world famous ultra runners, which yeah, zip it.
it's just bonkers. It's bonkers. And I mean, what I will say as well, mate, is thank you for doing that, because I'm not so good with that side of things, and that is going to be one of the things I'm going to take forward next year. Is I want to learn more about it, um, because I do a lot of planning and stuff, the episodes with the question and everything. But yeah, that side of things I don't know anything about. And you're right. One major thing I've taken away from doing this, and like I said, we do one once a week, and sometimes we have a big break between doing that, so we're not even like full time. But one thing I've learned from this is that to do podcasting, to do a YouTube channel, to do the social media things, and I don't know if you want to call it, I don't like using the word, but influencer stuff, it's a full-time job. And people get a lot, like I remember when people get a lot of criticism. Um, this is a funny story. When I first started my Instagram page and doing this, one of my mates reached out to me. I'm not going to say any names. He knows who he is if he listens. And he said, if you start calling yourself an influencer, I'm going to punch you in the throat, or words to that effect. Because influencer is kind of looked down on, that phrase. But I tell you what, it is a full-time job. Like these people, like the Leon Bustins and the
Laura,
Andrew Blazers and all these people who do it day in, day out. They have content. Their content is great. It's funny. It's interesting. It's insightful. It's educational. And it's to do that every single day, 7 days a week for your full-time profession and rely on the money and the viewings and the subscriptions. It's hard work, and we are not at that level. And I hope that one day we will be. Who knows? But yeah, kudos to
yeah,
anybody.
I don't think if people appreciate how much time just goes into a 30-second reel.
Mm-hmm.
When they're doing that every day, sometimes twice a day, their stories, it's a lot of planning.
Yeah.
Like, to be an
Yeah.
influencer, it's not just an easy thing that anyone can do. It
No.
is a proper job.
Yeah, it's mad. It's a full-time thing, and it's definitely opened my eyes up to it a bit more. And whenever I see like these videos of these influencers, that Leon Bustins and all these people, I could name hundreds who do amazing content every day. Like I tip my hat, because I just think I don't know how they. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure that these people, and this isn't taking away from it. This is not taking away from it. But I'm sure these people have teams of staff who work for them and stuff that help them, plan things. They brainstorm it. I mean, one person surprised you haven't mentioned him yet, mate. Nick Bear, one of my faves. You look at his in all seriousness, you look at his page and the dedication that goes into it and where it's got him in his life to a point where that is his lifeline. He has a supplement company and he is a full-time, whatever you want to call it, vlogger, influencer. And there's clips in his videos sometimes where he shows the amount of people that sit around a table and the thought and the content that goes into it. It's crazy. I really have learned a lot about how hard it is to do this. So yeah, that is also appreciated when we see all these stats, because it's no easy feat and we're not even doing it full time really. So yeah. But very, very grateful to everyone who listens. Everyone listens to us talk absolute nonsense sometimes.
Speaking about Leon, have you seen the latest video from UltraX, the Nevada one, which Leon competed in?
And he came third, didn't it? Do you know what? It's on my watch list. I haven't got around to it yet. I love watching the UltraX videos from the races.
Well, every shot of Leon in Nevada, he's in a coat. So I messaged him. I said, was it cold with it? He goes, well, I'm used to like 36, 40 degree heat in Costa Rica. So he was cold in Nevada.
No way.
But yeah, when you see it, he's in a bloody coat for all of it.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
But it did look stunning.
In fairness, what I thought, like my thought was that, like in the desert, in the day, obviously it's incredibly hot. But in the evenings, the temperature can drop really cold, can't it? But then thinking about it, in all the videos and the trailers of him running in the daytime, there he is. He's wearing a coat. That's funny.
It was really funny.
That's bonkers, mate. I mean, we didn't even start off with this, but I haven't seen you in ages. We haven't been for a run together in ages. We haven't had a catch up in ages. How are you? How's things going in the world of Nathan?
Well, you moved up to bloody Torreville, didn't you? At the valleys. Now living in a cave, you know?
In the valleys, though, but innit?
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like I'm living in a cave. Let me tell you, that's a whole other episode, that is. I'm not even going to go there.
Yeah,
but,
I'm good.
Yeah, how are you? What's life like?
Well, I hadn't run much since July. And obviously I had that Ridge Runners Mackin Marathon about a month ago to get me back into it. It was horrendous. I hated it. 3 miles in, straight away I was thinking, this is tough. I thought, what the hell? So it got to about 10 miles and I just thought, why am I doing this? What am I doing it for? And I decided to tap out of 40 miles. I just had no desire or want or need to finish. So I thought, fuck it, finishing. So when I reviewed my Strava though, or my Garmin, my heart rate was between 171 and 198.
Wow.
So obviously I was ill, and that's why it was so tough for me. But I was ruined that day, absolutely ruined. And now I know why I was ill. But I've never run at that high heart rate. But it just felt like the entire race was just going up hills.
It's mad. So what did you feel ill? Like, had you been training in the lead up to it, like doing strength and conditioning?
Didn't feel ill. I hadn't really done a lot of miles, to be honest, either. A 9 miles average week. So
mate,
not much at all.
I haven't run since the 17th of November, mate. I know that's very weird that I know that, but that's because, 18th of November, because I know that I was doing the calendar challenge, wasn't I, in kilometres. And I literally haven't put a pair of running trainers on. I tell them I put them on last Saturday to work, but I haven't actually been out for a run. So I started the calendar challenge. For anybody who didn't know, I was doing it for November. For raising money for various men's health issues, one of which important to me is prostate cancer, because my old man, and I wanted to do it as a kilometre a day, according to the day of the month. So day 1 kilometres, day 2 kilometres, day 3, so on and so forth. And I got up to day 18, and I mean, I was coughing and spluttering, but I wasn't out of breath. And I'll be honest with you, I felt absolutely amazing. Physically, there was a couple of days where I went out on the trails, but I'd say 80% of it was I just ran around in circles in a race around a racetrack in Tonopandi, which was hell on earth. But we got it done, and I was doing it pretty quick, in fairness, considering I never do it. It was miserable. And then my wife came down ill, and then my boy got croup, and then I got a respiratory tract infection, so basically laryngitis. Then I got a bacterial chest infection, and it's only been literally the last week that I've been back to work. I've had about 3 weeks off work. I couldn't talk, going up and down the stairs with breathless. Unbelievable. It knocked me for 6. Like I don't know.
Well, if you remember, I messaged you, didn't I? Because you'd done a run, and I messaged you saying you look like shit.
Yeah,
you were
did.
so.
Yeah.
Even for you, you were pale.
Cheeky bastard. I mean, in my defence, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and I got up and ran 24 kilometres to run 24 kilometres around a racetrack at 3 o'clock in the morning in a local town that I shat myself in, because it was a Monday morning, and right next to the racetrack, just up from the racetrack, there's a little housing estate, and they had a massive bonfire going. And there's people lobbing cans and shaking, and
that was
they're
your
all
car on
pissed and
fire.
dancing around this fire. And I just got out of my car and rocked up. Honestly, I shat myself. I genuinely, I had my car key on me, and I was like, to a point, right, because I don't know the area, to a point where I didn't want to use my head torch. I didn't want them to see that I was running around a racetrack, and then and you know, just in case. So I ran in pitch black for 2.5 hours, with just the lights coming from Christmas lights and like the odd street light. It was horrible. It was very daunting. And I tell you what, that challenge is hard. For anyone who wants to do it, give it a go. I recommend it. It was
Are you going to try in January now?
Not in January, mate, because I haven't run. I literally haven't run once. Like, I'm gonna have to build myself up. And I suppose you could say that is building myself up, but no, I don't think it's going to be January. I'll do it. I don't know when, but I'm going to do it again. Had I not got ill, I know I could have done it. But in terms of challenges, that's up there with one of the hardest, because of timing. You've really got time management is so difficult, because you've got to get up. You've got to face facts. So you either got to get up really early, like I said, 3 a.m. to get it done, to get home, to get ready for work, or you get up, go to work, and you do it in the evening, which then means your night's gone, or you split it and you do some of the morning and some of the night, which is even worse, because it was very difficult.
And your parent guilt comes in then, doesn't it?
Oh, mate, the parent guilt. Those 2 words haunt me. When you got a little one and a family, like, it's tough, it's hard. You know, my wife, bless her, she's put up with some shit over the years. Fair play with some of these running things I do. And yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But I'd recommend anyone try it. Our friend that we had on the podcast, Matt Grills, who I'm going to come back to in a bit because I want to talk about that. He did it throughout October in kilometres. And I think in November then he did it in miles.
Oh, but God.
I think he had a really bad fall halfway through the month and did his knee in or something. If you listen to this, Matt, I'm sorry, I could be getting this completely wrong, but he packed it in November, but now he's doing it for December. So he did the kilometres in October, got halfway through November, I think, and packed it in, and now he's doing it all the way through December. So he's now on day 18 miles, and that would be a different kettle of fish. Like day 10 kilometres, 6 miles, fine. But when you think about getting to day 20 and it's 20 miles, and then 21 miles, 22, another level, man. I take my hat off to anybody who does it, and I'd highly recommend trying. It's a challenge and a half. But yeah, man, I've been wiped out. I miss the running. I miss it badly.
Have you seen that the First Light Coffee have got the Denison round?
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that. That looks really cool. So,
Denison round is you've got 4 points of interest to hit around north of Cardiff, Forest Bower, from the coffee shop. 3 trig points, and the front of the castle door. And you can do whatever route you choose, just as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So have you seen the leaderboard? So imagine Top Gear. It's a sticky board where the names go up on the board. But when they started it, we had all the snow. Then a couple of days later, it was chucking down with rain. So they've got snowy, like
Yeah,
written in brackets, like for the weather conditions.
I
But
have
yeah,
seen that. Yeah, that's
it's it's
brilliant.
it's really popular. So on the weekend, it's just packed up there.
Yeah, I'm going to
It's brilliant piece of marketing.
It is when I'm in full health or almost there. I'm going to give it a go. Yeah, because it's Garth, Craggerholt,
Caerphilly
Caerphilly Mountain, and then
and the
the door of
doors.
Castle Cork in any
Yeah.
order that you want. But you've got to get a
So
picture at
so
every like
the
point.
top times are pretty quick. They're under 2 hours.
Hmm.
And they're doing about 9.5, 10 miles with
Yeah.
about 3,000, 4,000 foot. Um,
Hmm.
but I thought about doing it, but trying to do it the furthest distance.
What do you mean?
Like get the furthest distance on that round.
Well, so just keep going.
So no, so do the round, but see what sort of like mileage you can get on the round. Make it a full
Oh, I
round.
see. I see. Make it as big as you can. Like
Yeah,
check.
because you'll never beat like the fastest time now because they're just animals who are doing it now.
Yeah, near like an hour 40 or something, or
Yeah,
around that.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen that Strava map yet.
Call them out. Call them out right now,
So
Nathan. Get in there, mate.
I don't know what way they're doing, but that's a hell of a route.
What I liked about it is that Denison, the one who was actually named after, he actually came back, didn't he? Secretly surprised everyone and did it through the night, didn't he, or something, or late at night.
Yeah, that was a cool photo in front of the coffee shop, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was wicked.
That was class.
Fair play. So I'm definitely
What's
going
your
to give it
plans
a
for
go.
next year then?
Oh, mate. I don't know. Like I've not got anything booked. Oh no, I do. Yes, tell a lie. I do. I got the Hateful Eight booked through Mad Running Junkies, and I've got I forgot. Oh, the other one, the Nightmare Before Christmas, because I think he's rearranging that. It's not going to be called that, I'm assuming, but some point next year, in like the middle of the year, because I'm not going to be able to do it, unfortunately, this Saturday. Actually, we should talk about that in a second. But yeah, plans for next year. I have a little to-do list on my phone, and essentially, I want to do as many. I want to do quite a few 100 milers, official or unofficial. Like I don't, I haven't. Money is an issue at the moment, as it is with a lot of runners. I can't afford to be doing a lot of these competitions at races as much as I'd love to, and as flexible as some as they are. I think I'm going to get out and just do a couple of 100 milers. I want to get some multi-day events under my belt to get used to doing that, like camping, getting up, going, camping, getting up, going. I want to get used to doing that. And well, I mean, it's going to be hard for me because obviously 2026, I want to be doing this Ultra X challenge. And so next year, I'm going to be doing a lot of like fundraising, networking, charity events and stuff, which I've got a couple of ideas up my sleeve. So yeah, it's going to be a big focus on running. Gareth, obviously Gareth Gray, my mate who's an absolute tank of a runner who I desperately want to come on here. He invited me. He's doing what is he doing? I have to try and get it up. He asked me if I want to go for a run with him on the 27th, which I can't do because I'm up with the in-laws this year for Christmas. And he's doing an FKT attempt starting at midnight on the 27th and running through the night, hoping to be finished before sunset on the 28th. The Black Mountains Round, so Round Mynydd D.
Ooh,
So it's
tasty.
117 kilometers, 5,236 meters. And he's like, if you fancy popping out and seeing me, but I wouldn't have done the whole thing with him. I'm not up to that fitness and I'm not about hurting myself. But I mean, if I'd been around, I would have liked to have gone and keeping company. But if anybody wants to, you heard her on here, and he is a tank. So if you go with him, be prepared that he's going for an FKT. So make sure you're ready because he's fast. But yeah, not a lot in terms of races and stuff. Like I said, I got a couple of the Mad Running Junkies ones. I really want to do the Gert Lush one in Cosmoston.
Cosmeston, yeah,
I
the
really want to do
medieval
that.
backyard ultra.
Yes, I'm all about that, man. And I like
It's an official backyard as well.
yeah, and I like Paul. I like Gert Lush, and I'd like to support him and do that because I think it'd be brilliant. What about yourself?
Nothing. So all I've got planned at the moment is so we now have a couple of like race sponsors. We'll pop to some of their runs, film the runs for them as well. I would like to do Wales Coast again. Hmm. But again, it's planning.
It's planning, it's time.
It's the planning. I want to get the right crew and the right vehicles for it.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I need because obviously I tried that this year, failed, but learned so much about what I could do, so much, and what I needed to do it.
Those
So
runs,
yeah,
you learn a lot about yourself, don't you, in those runs?
that is something that is eating at me. Son keeps on saying about when am I going back? So it's just when.
Yeah.
So at the moment as well, I'm just trying to find my running mojo again. Just going out and running just because of the sheer joy of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to come round to that in a second, actually, because that's a huge point. But I don't want to just brush past Mad Running Junkies and Kev. First of all, I want to go back to him just really quickly. He's been on our show as well. He's very loved in the running community. He's a top guy. I also want to say thank you to Kev because he's developed Mad Running Junkies and he's now started. And I don't know if he appreciates this yet or if he's taken time to sit down and think about this, but he's now started another little running community like Pegasus. He's got people who go along to these events and they're all communicating and tied in together and talking about it. And he works bloody hard and he's been through a lot. And so I want to say to Kev, as we always say about Reese with Pegasus, thank you, because without these companies, without these amazing people who go out of their way to, have these events and plan it. And it's not easy to go out there and plan these routes and get people to volunteer and help you. Without these amazing organizations who are doing this, we wouldn't have these opportunities that we do. We wouldn't. So thank you to him. That's amazing. And yeah, I'm looking forward to doing his events. And
He's got some wicked things lined up as well.
Oh, he does. Which, yeah.
Really interesting ones.
He's got the Nightmare Before Christmas trail half in Bridgend, which I am signed up to, but unfortunately can't do because, as I've said, I haven't run for over a month and I'm not about to take on that as my first run. But
it's meant to be horrible as well. Really nasty, yeah.
He messaged me the other day saying he went out and did it, and it is rough. And you got to think about the terrain and what it's been like recently. And if you get all that bad weather coming at you on one of those runs, that half marathon will feel like a bloody ultra.
It'll be miserable, yeah.
It'll be miserable. But kudos to him, man. Kudos to him. You mentioned about the coastal run, and you said about crew.
Yeah.
I touched on Matt Grills earlier from Australia. We've had on you. Me and him have developed a wicked friendship since he came on you. Really have. Like, we're so similar, and he's a great guy. And he's reached out. He's doing UTMB next year, I believe. And he's asked if I want to go and crew him.
So, wow.
I know he's got a couple of people. So the brand, he sent me a T-shirt. It's a really good brand called Willpower. The guy who owns that is going to crew him, and forgive my ignorance, one of his other mates as well. And he said it'd be great if I could go out and join him. So it'd be a conversation I have to have with my wife and with my bank, see if I can afford it. If I can get out to Chamonix, even if he's got a crew of his choice, because that's completely his choice, I still have to go out there and support him. And also because he looks unreal. So yeah, that would be amazing to crew him to go out there. He's also he did apply to get into Western States, the big boy, but I think he missed the lottery. He said he'd like me to go out there and crew him for that one day, but that's America, so different subject, different conversation. But
well, don't they limit it to like 281 runners every year, and that's it?
Western States, and it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're calling to Walter or bloody Jim Walmsley or Andrew Glick, doesn't matter. All these big, huge runners sponsored, doesn't matter. If you apply, you're treated the same as everyone else. It's a lottery. And yeah, people have been trying for years. I think Andrew Glaze hasn't even got in. He's been trying for years. Yeah. So let's talk about, tell me some standout moments from your year that could be to do with this podcast. We could do anything.
Best moment was probably when I was doing the coastal path and I got to the top of Holyhead Mountain, and you could see all of Anglesey and Snowdon and so like the Welsh coast in the distance. That was just incredible because the sun was just coming up. And then a couple of days after that, then when I spent it, so like, because I DNF'd, spent it just down in Pembroke with my boy. Loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. Simple things, but yeah, loved it. Podcast highlights. I just loved having so like everyone I followed for years. Leon, Flora, Alan, Mark, and Jen. Just the thing that they've been on the podcast. We spent like hours chatting to them, and we still message them now. It's just bonkers, absolute bonkers.
Yeah, it's a good way of putting it in there. I'd followed a lot of them for a long time as well, and then to be talking to them just freely, like, yeah, it's mad.
Yeah, and you're a bit starstruck when you first come on, but you got to like try and like breathe in and just get on with it, haven't you? Because they are just like us, but years down the line.
Exactly. It's like when you start when you've done the intro and you're warming into it, then it's just like, oh, this is okay actually. But yeah, it's always gonna. I'm sure everyone has that moment where you're like, holy shit, I've got XYZ on here now today. I've got to try and pull this out the bag now, and it's hard, and it goes back to how hard it is because you think a lot of these people have been around for years doing the influencing thing, and they've done podcasts. They've been asked every question you can think of, and you're like, I don't want to ask the same questions. I don't want them to get bored. But you've got to consider all of that. So yeah, that's true. I've had some amazing guests.
Really it's been so inspiring as well. Just hearing so like what they're doing and what they've done and what they plan to. Like the one that stands out is like Alex running around the track blindfolded and those hallucinations he was having.
Do you know
Jesus.
what? I was thinking earlier on in the show about standout moments in the podcast, and we have had some of the most amazing, inspiring people come on this podcast already in less than a year. And that one moment, that's really weird. That's the one moment that immediately popped in my head was deaf and blind around a track for 24 hours. Because I just think the way he described it, the way Alex described that was so, like my palms were clammy listening to him because it was so raw, and you can tell to this day when he talks about it, he's haunted by it. Like, and the frigging hallucinations, they're normally quite funny. When you listen to the hallucinations you hear from Scott Jenkins and all these people being chased by witches, they're funny. Maybe not to them at the time, but to us, it's hysterical. But he was
dark. Yeah.
It was dark, and like, it was as if his body, well, not as if, it was his body trying to literally tear him out of that moment and stop him from doing everything was against him, and to just keep progressing forward, holding onto a piece of frigging rope until your brother taps you on your shoulder. That, yeah, hands down. Like I mean, you got Leon who's done the joke. All these things are amazing, and I'm not taking any of the credit away from him at all. But that, in terms of challenging, yeah. And if you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen to it.
Yeah, he actually messaged me a couple of weeks ago because obviously he's been on that other podcast, you know, that Tea and Trails one where they talk about how hard it is taking their kids skiing all the time in the Alps. Different level of fucking complaining that is. But yeah, he messaged me. He said, I hope you don't mind, but I've been asked to go on. I was like, yeah, that's fine. We got you first. That's fine with me.
Yeah, and also he reached out. Yeah, when we put the thing out about where people could vote, and we did really well with people voting and stuff like that, and he reached out to me and said, and you've only just begun, like, it made me want to sing, because he was saying you're literally so young into it and already you're doing this well. So yeah, he's a nice guy. Was it Alex Bance, is it?
Yeah. It was quite nice seeing all those posts about like people's top 5 on Spotify and everywhere, and seeing us above Tea and Trails for most of them. I thought that was quite funny.
Yeah, met my one mate Paul messaged me saying, and it was above Joe Rogan. He was like, I've listened to you more than Joe Rogan. For me, that's big. That's big. I mean, we're not bigger than Joe Rogan in any way, shape, or form, but to him, we were. So,
yeah, I've seen a few with us. We were above Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, Diary CEO. I was like, what the hell?
I know, man. Yes, I mean, if only we were actually above them, but no. But our fans, the people who listen to us and are subscribing, are listening to us more than them. So what does that say? That
Yeah,
means more
true.
to me than anything. You mentioning your highlights. Mine is obviously Epona. Obviously.
Finishing it with your boy.
Yeah, you knew exactly what I was going to say. My first
Yeah.
100 miler. First 100 miler, the most grueling, difficult couple of days, 35 hours of my life.
Would you
So
do it
intense.
differently?
Would I do it differently?
Yeah. Would you get more sleep?
No.
About 10, 11 o'clock?
No, I didn't have any, did I? And I'd be honest with you, I felt okay. Like I didn't feel. It's
Because the
one of those
reason I've
ones.
said it is because, like, obviously, when I used to do Welsh Coastal Path, I was doing like 100 miles over 2 days,
Hmm,
and I was getting like 6, 7 hours sleep in between.
hmm.
So possibly, if I was doing a 100 miler race, I'd get about 1, 2 hours sleep.
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. Because I was. I
Because I
mean,
bet the night was quite slow going anyway.
the night was the hardest part, without a
So,
shadow of a doubt. It was, and most
so
people say that, but I don't think it was hard because I was tired. It was hard. I mean, I was tired physically. Everyone was tired physically, like on another level. Like, but I think because you're just constantly moving forward, you're trying to get to that next checkpoint. You're making sure you've got enough hydration, enough food. You're just checking those various things, making sure you've got the right layers on, or blah blah blah. And if you're running with someone, which 90% of people are, unless you're right at the front, you're just keeping each other company, keeping each other out of the pain cave, and you're so focused on moving forward that I can honestly say at no point did I really like go, oh God, yeah, I could sleep now. Like it just didn't, I didn't. I think I just managed my food and my hydration well enough. Don't get me wrong, when you sat down at a checkpoint and you put your feet up on a chair and you're having your blisters done and you're eating a bit of pizza, fucking, you close your eyes, boy, and you are gone. You'll be gone. Because when I finished the race, my baby boy, I'm not gonna cry, my baby boy ran towards me and I crossed the line with my wife and my parents, and my dad gave me a Doombar beer and I sat down. Like, I crashed so fucking hard. Paul crashed so hard. Like, because you had that dump of adrenaline and you've finished, you haven't got a checkpoint to get to, you haven't got to worry anymore about what you're eating, what you're drinking, your family are there with you. It's like you're in the comfort of their hands now. They can support you, they can carry you to the
yeah,
car, and everything just like I've shown the fit picture of me asleep with a Winnie the Pooh blanket on. When I got home, I have never fallen asleep so quick in my life. I got home, my wife, like I said, hadn't even got my boy out of his car seat, and I was asleep. Like, she went out, she helped me over the step in my house, turned around, got my boy at the car seat, came in, I was done, gone. And I mean, I slept hard, and, but at no point did I feel like I needed that during the race. And I'll be honest with you, when you're also mindful of just getting to the finish line, I didn't want to sleep. I I couldn't have. I don't think I could have. Like, yeah, no, not for me.
I
I
just thought of another highlight for myself. Because
mm,
we were talking about sleep, like it just brought me back to sort of like when I went out for that 18-mile run with Lowy Morgan. And
mm.
I wish I'd recorded it because it was just like having an interview off her. The information she gave me, the stories were just incredible. And it was just, the weather was miserable. Like it was bouncing off like the roads and everything back up into your face. It was that heavy, but it was just so
Mm.
quiet. It was just amazing. And to think I had that opportunity because of what I've done in the last year to run with a legend Larry. It was just incredible, absolutely
Yeah,
incredible.
you dropped the bollock by not recording that, mate.
I
Fair play.
know, but I just didn't want to be that guy.
Pardon me. I know. When you're running, you're in the moment with them, in you. And you
Yeah,
don't want to be like, you don't want to be like, I want to get my phone out and my card you, which just don't be a dick, like, because they're probably going to be like, can we just run? Like,
yeah.
but I
Maybe
know when you,
I'll get her out for another run, so I can do it like a interview, possibly.
yeah, yeah, just, I mean, all you got to do is ask a couple of questions and put your phone back in the pocket. I mean, you haven't got to be constantly in a face, but
Yeah. Hopefully,
I mean,
it's a bit slower this time now. Jesus.
yeah. Couple of other highlights. I mean, there's the Edam, which I can't forget because I really struggled through that the first time round. And I met Steve and Emmy, and had a fucking amazing day. The weather was great, thank God, compared to the time when we did it. And I loved that, but really, really found it hard. Strangely enough, one of the hardest runs I did this year, though, was the Cardiff Half. which, honestly, which I don't know why I'm laughing, because it's half marathon and it's a hard run. And because I set off to do it quick on the road, which I'm not used to doing, I was more of, I've just been plodding along doing trail runs. I went out too hard and too fast. And when I finished now, I was absolutely hanging out of my ass. Like, I didn't know what to do with myself. Like, you've fucked it up when the medic comes over and asks if you're okay. And I was like, and it's funny because everyone goes, "But you went 100 miles. That should be a walk in the park." No, it's not. 13 miles isn't a walk in the park. When you're trying to get a PB or a sub 140 and you're going fast the whole time and it's humid and everything, it's tough. So that's a standout moment. That really bent me over, I did.
Humbled you.
Yeah. But I think I need to also point out, and I touched on this at the beginning, about the amount of people and guests and stuff and community. You've got to take the time to just acknowledge all of the amazing, inspiring things that our friends that we've met to this community have done over the years, over the last year. Like, I can't even think of everyone, and I'm not going to start properly listing them because I will miss people and I don't want to insult anyone. So please don't think that. But you got Jenks who ran up and down Barry Prom 100 miles. Like, how miserable. I did 18 and a half miles with him on that, and that was hard work. All the people who've done the Pegasus Slams. You got Terry Rosman who drew the biggest cock, 75 miles. And like I said, I've forgotten many people. You've got, people like Imogen Body who did the 3 Peaks, and all these wonderful people who've done ridiculous things. But then strip it down to the bare bones, and all the people who have just put on a pair of trainers this year and taken that leap to do their first race, whether it was a 5K, 10K, half marathon, ultra. And one of the standouts of that is Andrew, who, when we first had him on the podcast, hadn't even done an ultra. He did 7 this year. And he signed up to, I think he signed up to Wild Horse and Epona next year, isn't he?
Yeah, he seems to be doing everything. Well, something every weekend. I see him posting. What a guy.
Ridiculous. I love it. I absolutely love it. And yeah, these memorable things are what inspire us to keep going. Yes, you got a beer. Cheers. I got a whiskey. Nate's got a beer. If you're not watching the video, actually, you need to go on YouTube and watch it, because I've got a tremendously cool Christmas jacket on with a Home Alone t-shirt and a Christmas hat. Nathan's wearing a hat that looks about 3 sizes too small.
It is. I think it's the dogs, to be honest.
It's the dogs. Yeah.
Dogs have got loads of Christmas jumpers and hats. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. But touching on what we were saying then is, I think one of the main things, again, I'm going to keep using this word, I'm grateful for from this podcast as well, and that I'll take away from this year, is the friendships we've made and stuff, and the networks that we've built and stuff with great people. And I want to continue to do that. That is my goal. Is, yes, I'd love to make this a full-time thing one day, don't get me wrong, because who wouldn't want to do that? But the main thing for me is to keep building these friendships and meeting these amazing, inspiring people, and to get out and run with them and take part in their events.
Even all the brands we've met.
Yeah.
Protein Rebel, Flaming Phoenix, Smart Eyewear. It's just...
Yeah. All those people that, and more. I want to meet more, and that's what I'm all about. And I think we've had a lot of people who come on here and have been very open about a topic that me and you discuss a lot, which is very close to our heart, which is the mental health aspect as well. A lot of brave people who've told us about their journeys, which isn't easy to talk about. And
Alan was the one that stood out for me around that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And we've had some amazing people on who've talked about that, and we do not take that for granted. Like, mental health is very close to our hearts. We've had people who've raised money for Big Moose and various other charities. And yeah, I think something I wanted to touch on as well, which is, I'm not going to go down a dark hole, but I think so. I think this podcast as well has helped me a little bit in that sense as well, because you talk to these people, you're almost getting advice from them and learning from them, and you learn stuff about yourself. And I think over the last year or more, my mental health has been up and down, and I've had therapy and stuff like that, due to various personal struggles. And I think I started, there's been stages over the past couple of years where I started to lean on my running or use my running as a crutch. And I was relying on it as my only form of kind of output, if that makes sense. And I think at some stages over the last couple of years, I've had a bit of an unhealthy relationship with running as well. Like, don't get me wrong, I use running as an outlet for my mental health because it's tremendous. It's helped me hugely, and it always will. But I think throughout the past year and longer, from speaking to people, from going out and running with people, doing recce's, and just getting to know people and talk through their struggles and stuff, I've learned to have a healthier relationship with running, because obviously at some points, some low points in my life, I relied purely on running. And in doing so, I pushed all the important things and the people closest to me aside because I was just relying on the running. There's more to it than that, but I think, like, yeah, just to give some context, I think I was running away from my problems sometimes, which is not what it's about, and that's not what it should be about. And I think I adapted the way I think about running. I adapted the way I thought about mental health, and I've now got a good relationship with it. And now I can run and enjoy it, and it helps me as an outlet. But I've learned to also not push the people closest to me aside, and not just to purely rely on on running. And I think that's where there's a line, isn't there? Like, it comes back to what you said at the beginning, running just for fun. Like,
Yeah.
I think in any sport, running, athletics, fucking rugby, football, whatever, in any sport, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. And sometimes you put so much pressure on yourself that sport, that thing that you love, you start to fall out of love with. And it's important to note that it's not just all about that. You can also have a life outside of that. And you need to remember there are other outlets. Running,
like when you'll go for a run, you'll come back, you'll feel better. But the actual problem, why you were shitty in the first place, will still be there.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
I've got from this that a lot of self-reflection is sort of like looking at my own life and sort of like what I need to change and stuff. And now I've changed bits, and now I want to get back into the love of running rather than just running, like doing races. I want to find a couple of like FKTs which don't cost an arm and a leg. You just go out and do them. Find some new trails. Do some videos of when we're running. Just shit, like just mess around with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, enjoy it. Like, that's what running's about. If there's ever a point in my life where I don't enjoy it anymore, then I just won't do it, because I got a very addictive personality. And there's been times in my life where, like I said, there was a crossroads where I was like, it became a burden to put my trainers on, and I was associating it with just dark moments in my life. And I think that needed to change, and it did. I can't pinpoint exactly when it did, but I do know that since moving up here, that has helped, because it's new routes, new scenery. I do a lot of my running alone. I do a lot of my running recently with no music and stuff. Whether you listen to music or not, really, I mean, that's another talking point altogether. But I just think I use running for my mental health because it's where I feel kind of I'm by myself, I can free my mind. But I'm not trained to say this to anybody, so don't take what I'm saying as gold. But don't use it as just your only outlet. If there's anyone out there who's struggling, talk to the people around you still. Don't just go out and do these runs solo, because, like you said, Nate, when you come home, that problem's going to be there. It's still going to be there. And I was running away from the most important people in my life and not talking through the issues that needed talking through, and instead was putting my trainers on and going for a run. And that's when it became a bit of a toxic relationship. And just through doing this podcast and talking to you and learning more about Big Moose and learning about the experiences people have had with Big Moose and other mental health charities out there. Yeah, I've learned a lot. It's been a massive learning experience for me. And I think that's probably, I mean, let's face it, that's probably the most important thing that I've learned all year, really. And again, I can say I'm grateful for it, really fucking grateful for it, because it's been some dark times, but I didn't mean to bring the thing down. But it's a very important talking point, because I know there's people out there who are probably struggling. And the key point is to just,
Key
focus.
point, they don't have to, if they just got the courage to speak it to someone.
Exactly. Take that leap of faith and talk to someone.
I'll
Just
put a link on all the descriptions everywhere for Big Moose. So if you are struggling, just click on the link and you can get therapy within a week.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Definitely, 100%. These help the most important person in my life. They're a great charity. Yeah. Especially this time of year, isn't it, as well, man? There's a lot of people this time of year who struggle around Christmas, man. It's hard. It's a hard time of year for a lot of people. So yeah, put that in there. But yeah, I'm again, that's not me making it dark or anything, but it's that's a personal milestone that I think I was able to cross over to.
Well, it's why we wanted to set the podcast in the first place as well. One is to cover mental health issues.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think a lot of episodes we didn't target and talking about it, but we covered it and people opened up about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like I said, you learn from them. You like so many of these people who've been on, you've said things, and you're like, holy shit! It does it triggers something in you. Like I'd never thought about it like that. And again, I'm not going to pinpoint it now, but there's quite a few people who said some things like that, this podcast has really helped the community, and been lucky to connect with some really incredible people who have probably subconsciously, not even knowing, have helped us. And I hope that we can help other people by sharing information and sharing links and things like that. But you're right, that's probably one of the main reasons we did this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Also, I discovered kimchi, so that's a bonus.
What the hell's kimchi?
What do you mean, what's kimchi? Oh, Nate, come on. You probably think I'm talking about some kind of martial art now, like Tai Chi, don't you? So kimchi's, no, it's a Korean dish made from fermented vegetables. Yeah, sounds minging, but do you like garlic? Do you like... Wait there. Now, this could break your relationship down. Yeah, I'm not sure I want to continue this podcast with you if you don't like garlic. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Not strong garlic, but I like it.
What do you mean, not strong garlic?
Well, anyway, get on with
it. It's a dish made from fermented vegetables and cabbage and things like that, and Korean radishes, and it's banging. It's incredibly good for you. It's rich in probiotics. And yeah, I was literally making notes of things that I've discovered this year that I love, and kimchi just popped into my head. And I don't know why I'm talking about kimchi, and I'm not going to talk any more about it because it's random, but it's good. It's good for you.
You know what? I was thinking about that dish, and I was thinking, oh yeah, I bet it makes you shit. Then I thought about how many times have we talked about shitting on a run through the year on episodes? I wonder what the count is. It seemed to be every one.
Yeah, I am almost certain that every single episode has it at some stage talked about shit. But the thing is, it's a focal point. It's what is the number one reason? Oh, I don't know if it's the number one reason. I think it maybe is that people DNF.
DNF, yeah.
What is it? It's gut issues, and either because they're vomiting or they're shitting themselves, or both at the same time. So, yeah, it's true. Very, very true. Runner's trots is a real thing, man, and that does link into kimchi. Yeah, because it's very good for gut health. And I've been on a bit of a gut health journey. I'm not going to lie, because there was a point where, back to shit, I couldn't go for a run without going to the toilet, and it started to really negatively impact my runs, because literally every single run I went on, I was like a few miles in and I'm like, oh my God, I just want to run. I want to keep running, and I'd have to stop. and it was getting to me, and to a point where I was like, is there something, like, is it my diet? Am I doing something wrong? Am I not eating the fiber, eating too much? To a point where I've started eating a lot more things like probiotics, like kimchi, and all these superfoods. And I went down a bit of a rabbit hole listening to podcasts about gut health. Honestly, mate, hey, look, there's some really good podcasts about gut health. Don't mess around with that. But yeah, is there any, or are there any, I should say, training hacks or lessons you've learned this year in terms of like nutrition and recovery, things like that?
Nutrition. That a lot of all of the guys who have done insane runs don't use gels.
Knew that was coming. Yeah.
Not one person spoke about the gels he ate or had.
So do you think there's more of an argument to just real food?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I think there's still an argument for gels, though, but I think the argument is to not rely on them.
I just don't think.
Have them as a backup. Like, imagine you're out doing a coastal run, you're a few days in, or in the middle of an ultra or any big run, you aren't going to be meeting your crew or whatever for another 10 hours. There's no shops nearby, and and then all you've got in your bag is a gel or a couple of gels. Then that's what I mean. You use it as a last resort because it's going to give you that little boost that you need, as opposed to just having gels.
But so most gels have got what, 80 calories in, 90 calories, and out of those calories, only 30 grams of carbs. Yeah. So you need about between 80 to 110 grams of carbs an hour. How many gels do you need to consume?
For 80 to 100 grams
an hour. See, that's 3 gels an hour.
Yeah.
Just every 20 minutes you're taking a gel. There's only one way that's going.
That
is going straight through.
And there's, I mean, like me and Nathan ain't nutrition experts, so there's an argument for everything. I'm sure there's people who would argue they prefer that to real food, because personally, I'm still on a bit of a journey where I struggle to eat real food on these long runs. Like, I can have the odd biscuit and stuff like that, but you see some people stopping at these aid stations, and at every single one they're eating like handfuls and handfuls of roasties and all this stuff, and sometimes I just cannot take it.
I always take a tray out. Carry a tray out to the checkpoint, I do. Roasties, crisps, sweets, bananas.
Yeah, do you know what? On the subject of nutrition, my favourite nutrition hack that I learned this year was during Epona, and it was watermelon and salt.
Okay.
Shout out to Lee Runs Ultras. He was on that checkpoint, and he was the one who was like, "Oh, but have one of these." No, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do an impression of his accent, but he's like, "Come over here, have one of these." And I tried it, and game changer. Absolutely lovely. And I've eaten it in my house since and stuff like that, because you get a real sweetness of the watermelon with that little bit of a salt. Obviously, it's better on a hot day, but also hot noodles, chicken and mushroom. Oh my God. Game changer. Didn't go through me. I had no gut issues throughout the entirety of Epona. And I think I had a pot noodle at every checkpoint.
Speaking of Lee, next year he's doing the Dragon's Back.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
I'm hoping to volunteer and go up there for the 7-10 days. So he's asked me why isn't he good enough to come on the podcast. So I did actually reply. I said, well, I do intend bringing you on, but closer to your Dragon's Back, so we can do like a before, a during, and like a debrief with you. He was like, oh, okay then.
Yeah, I mean, that is one of the most deemed one of the toughest, if not the toughest run in the world. So yeah, I just think the Dragon's Back, taking on a prestigious event like that, mate, I'd love to hear more about your story and your training blocks and everything before it, how you get on during, and then how crucified you are afterwards.
Yeah, I want to do his running experience and his journeys some credit by doing a little series around it. So that's why I'm holding back, yeah. On
one condition. Lee, if you're listening, stay off your fucking motorbike, man.
I've said that to him.
Mate, like, honestly, I love motorbikes. I've grown up loving them. I've never ridden one. I've never ridden. I don't even know how to ride them, but I love them. But when you fell off and you fucking broke your back or your neck or whatever it is, man, come on.
That
I know
was
you're
close, yeah.
clearly adrenaline junkie, but if you want to be doing dragons back, mate, stay off the bike, for God's sake.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm curious. Oh, sorry, on that note, good luck for it, by the way. And if anyone doesn't know what Dragon's Back is, get on YouTube and look at it. It's ridiculous. Kudos to anyone who's taken it on. So good luck with that, Lee. Talking about hacks and stuff like that, I want to know yours, but I'm going to give mine first. My 3 favourite and most used pieces of kit this year.
Ooh.
First and foremost, because I am a brand whore of Hoka, I will love them until the end of time. They have been a game changer for me in running, and any of my Hoka trainers. There's not a specific period. I mean, my speed goats have done a phenomenal, like, they've saved me on many a trail runs. But then I also love my Rincons for the faster runs and my Max. I just love Hoka. I love Hoka. So my Hoka trainers, first favorite piece of kit. My Varga hats, I have to say, because I fucking love them. I was never been a hat guy in my life. I probably still don't look very good in them, but I don't care because they're so comfortable. They are great in the heat. They're great in the rain. They're wicked designs, and I love them. And Ellis, if you're listening, I'd message you. Come on the podcast, please. He's a co-founder. And I'm going to say my Salomon belt. I've got a Salomon storage belt, which has been on every single run that I've done this year, without fail. Like casual runs, lunch runs, big runs, every single run I've ever been on. It stores my phone, stores a couple of gels, and it is my absolute go-to.
It does really help having a belt as well as a vest, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
For your like your phone and stuff.
Yeah. Like I can't. It's great. It's just you've got to do a bit of your research, and it did take me a few belts before I found the one I really liked. It's hard. Like they do bend the range sometimes. But I'll be honest, the Salomon, I had this one I replaced recently because my last one ripped and I was gutted. So I can't remember what the models were. I'll find them. But my Salomon belt, I replaced it with another Salomon belt, and I cannot speak highly enough of them. They're not super expensive. They can be, but they're not. They're worth their weight in gold. Like I said, I haven't been on a single run without my belt. It is my go-to kit. So I'm going to say they're my 3 pieces. What about you?
Probably a battery pack, because obviously I do a bit of filming when I'm running, so that's been a godsend. My Topu Ultra Venture.
Okay.
I've quite enjoyed running out with them.
Okay.
It's just a shame they haven't got a bigger lug, so when it gets muddy, it's a bit more grip. But I've been pretty comfortable in them all year. Yeah, quite like them. Okay. Just a pair of like running shorts, like cycling shorts underneath.
But your compression ones.
Yeah, godsend when it comes to chafing.
Oh shit! Do you know what? Can I make it 4?
Oh, here we go.
No, life jacket skin, the anti-chafe.
Yeah.
That shit. A little tin I've had on me.
I've got a hack. Deodorant.
Huh?
You know the deodorant sticks, like the white ones. Use them. Use them for chafing and actually on your feet.
Yeah, but that's a waste of a deodorant stick.
No, just do it because it's cheaper than like everything else, and it's easier to apply.
But you know, man, I've still got my life jacket skin chafe thing, like a bar, but it's about this big now. It's almost. I think I got it around about the start of the year. So shout out to life jacket skin, because honestly, I have used probably 4 or 5 different anti-chafe things and sprays that either stain your clothes and work for a few hours but just don't do the job. But I've used that one, and like I said, I wouldn't talk about it if I didn't think it was a good product. It's good. It's really good. It doesn't leave grease marks. It smells great, which is weird because your bollocks don't have no. Well, anyway, but it smells great, and yet it's worked tremendously. And I've recommended it to a few people. I think Jenks and I'm sure Luke as well. I can't remember. Have got it and have said it was really good too. So yeah, that's a really important.
What guests next year would you love to come on?
Uh,
Just
oh,
three guests.
we're not allowed to talk about the guests that we've got lined up though.
No,
Not,
no.
Oh, you put me on the spot there, man. I mean, Nick Bear, let's face it,
Yeah.
impossible. I don't think, I mean, that's not going to happen for a very long time. Like, if that happens.
Is he coming to Birmingham for the running event?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Don't know though. Who knows? I think I'd love to speak to Courtney DeWalter.
Yeah.
I think I'd just love to have a chat with her because she seems wicked. She just seems so lovely and fun and down to earth, and she's got no ego. She just fucking runs. Like, she's got no training block. She eats pizza, nachos, and drinks beer, and then kills everyone on the trail. So I'd love to have a chat with her.
I would like to actually pin like Andrew Glazer said he don't mind coming on. He's just trying to pinpoint a time
Yeah.
that's convenient for both of us. Obviously, Ultra Jake Jackson.
Ultra Jake Jackson, yes.
Yeah.
See, you put me on the spot.
Local runner. Simon, one who won the Dragon's Back a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to get him on.
Penny would be a really good one, which I was looking at the other day. Guy called Mike Fremont. In February, he turns 103 years old. And he is
Better get him on quick then, shall we?
Still running marathons. Not very fast, but he's running them. And yet just killing it, like still doing it every day.
Do you know what? I've just thought of the Welsh kid, the one who just ran New York Marathon. He's like done loads of marathons, and he's like the only kid with Down syndrome to do it, and he's like based in Wales. He's Welsh. I just can't think of his name. If anyone knows him, please put us in contact with him, because I'd love to get him on.
Yeah,
he just looks like so much fun as well to go out with a run. Did you see him dancing in New York?
Yeah, did I see him
class?
Of course I did. Do you know,
what a guy.
There's so many people though, like just that. I mean, what I like
about, just run and inspire people.
Yeah, what I like about this podcast is that yes, it's good to have all these big people on, but there's a lot of good local runners as well. Kind of running out of things to talk about now because I just feel like this could go on for 14 hours because it's
I think we're just babbling now, aren't we?
But it's good though. It's been such a positive year, and I'd love to just talk about this forever. But I am conscious that listeners are probably like, "Fuck, I'm about to skip this." If you're about to skip when you're on a run, please don't skip. Listen to me. Keep listening. And also, keep running. You can do this. Left, right, left, right, left, right. Anyway, I think, I don't know about you, Nate, but I just think to roll on to a finish of this episode, if you've loved and enjoyed this podcast as much as we have this year, we'd love for you to continue this journey with us. Share your favorite episodes, on our podcast.
Yeah, comment us for like your favorite episode and the thing that stuck out for you.
Leave us a review. Good or bad, that's fine. Don't be mean. If you've got nothing nice to say, don't do anything at all, innit? But I mean, just stick with us because trust us, we've got some amazing guests, and we're going to start changing the way things are done. Like Nate said, we want to go out with some of these companies and actually do some of these interviews whilst we're out there in the mix of it with them. We've got some really good ideas lined up. We want to get out into a couple of events. I want to do something with First Light Coffee. Shout out to the best coffee shop in there.
Love Light.
Rico, our friend Rico. Big shout out to Rico. Actually, he owns Live Love Light Healing Hub in Pontcanna, Cardiff. They did a run recently with the shop that both me and Nathan work at, Moti. I've known Rico for a very long time. I think he's the first Welsh international futsal, so indoor football player. Super lovely, positive guy. And he's doing so well. He's just opened. So for anybody listening, he's just opened the second healing hub in Newport, right by Friars Walk. And I went to their opening, and it is phenomenal. They got infrared saunas. They do yoga, meditation. They go for runs every other Friday. Big shout out to Rico. We're going to get him on, and hopefully me and Nate are going to do an episode in his healing hub so we could talk about
he said pop down as well.
Yeah, so let's do it. We got a lot of really good guests lined up. Gonna have a lot of fun with it. And yeah, just stick with us because we've had a great year, and just thank you from me and Nathan, man. It's just been amazing. And Merry Christmas to everybody who's listening. Have a jolly one. And then
the first year's been big, but the second year is going to be bigger.
It's going to get bigger every year. Every year. Yeah. And I want to try and get out more with the community. I do a lot of running solo, but I want to get out and do more things with the community, as I'm sure you do, Nate. More charity and fundraising stuff. So yeah, stick with us, man. It's going to be good. And thank you so much for everybody who listened. Genuinely, from the bottom of our hearts. We wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. It has been, it's been amazing this year, and it's because of you this has happened. So thank you.
Thank you guys for listening. Thank you so much. Let's keep growing this. And thank you for giving us the platform to do it. And thank you for Nathan for being an half-tidy host.
Yeah. I do all the dog work behind the scenes.
Nice one, guys. Thank you very much for listening. And here's to 2025 and bigger, better things.
Cheers, guys. Happy Christmas and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Bye.